Now, speaking of scary, I hate to bring this up, but we just got to do it. For some
Yeah,
freaking reason, the Los Angeles Clippers always gets better every year. For some reason, they
yeah,
just seem to get
hmm
people to come to them. And this is drawing back to the well, it all started when CP3 came to them, right?
right.
I think that's where the tide started to turn for the
hmm
Clippers, where they started off as a joke franchise.
Yeah,
They started off as a franchise who's an easy win, really,
yeah.
right? I remember the 2000s when they were just playing. You got Eric Piatkowski over there.
No,
You got whoever
that
else is on the team.
that era where they were like they weren't I supposedly they weren't running any plays like Elton Brand, Q Rich, Darius Miles, Lamar Odom.
Right? They were
That
just
was a pretty that was a pretty exciting team to watch.
they they were just messing around. You don't
Yeah,
expect the Clippers to do anything, but
yeah,
that's all changed now with Donald
yeah,
Sterling gone.
yeah.
The Clippers are. I mean, they're still. I mean, if you go around LA, you can tell. You can tell me this right now. I just know
Mhm.
that every time you go around LA, you're not gonna see a lot of Clippers gear. They're definitely.
Yeah,
How do you
actually,
rank the Clippers
well,
from coming from Los Angeles
well,
in sports fandom there?
to be honest, like it's almost like level now. Like you see a lot of you see a lot of fans sporting Clipper gear now, and yeah, owe that to just the change of the culture. I mean, sadly, pre before Steve Ballmer, we had Donald Sterling who never took care of his players, was proven to be a racist
It's very
through that
racist.
through those tapes, and really just didn't really care about about really taking care of the franchise and really and really bringing it up to a level that's respectable. And I have Steve Ballmer who's like enthusiastic and he's like who's like just really you know passionate about what he does, and you see that change. You really see that
Yep.
change quickly, and and then merch is coming. They have their own arena now, and then you see like um, you see like people around wearing Clippers jerseys, Kawhi Leonard, blue and red. I'll still I'm still I'm still a Laker fan for life. I still think they're the other team. Sorry, but I mean, you got to be happy for the change in the
Yep.
change in the direction, the change in the culture.
It's good. I think it's good
Yeah,
for the city really, just to
yeah,
have those two good teams there. But
yeah,
before we digress, the reason why we're talking about the Clippers is that
yeah.
they essentially just got Bradley Beal for cheap, and
Right,
they got Chris Paul
Chris
to
Paul.
come back for his last season. Chris Paul
Mm,
said that this upcoming season is gonna be his last, and he wanted to come home to LA where his family
right,
is, and he
right.
signed for the Clippers.
And it's a
This
good. I
rotation
think
is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I think it's a good move for Chris Paul because Chris Paul's best years in his career were with the Clippers. You
Yep.
know, he kind of was on the rise as a Hornet, and then once he came to the Clippers, Lob City and all that. So, you know, I think it's a good homecoming for him.
Yeah, I don't think this is Lob City anymore. It's
No,
probably Lob Suburb
yeah,
or Lob Town or something
right.
like that. But it's definitely not Lob City anymore. But
No,
this
no,
rotation is crazy. Let's
mm,
run down the rotation real quick.
right.
So, you have these starters. You got James Harden starting at point guard,
Mm-hmm.
Bradley Beal, who they
Bradley
just
Beal.
got off a buyout from the Suns,
Mm-hmm.
and Kawhi Leonard, as we said, he's still Kawhi.
Yeah.
Whenever he's healthy, he looks like Kawhi.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got John Collins
John
from the Jazz,
Collins. Yeah.
and
Great.
they got Ivica Zubac manning the
Yep.
middle.
Yep.
And now on the bench, you got Chris Paul,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Dunn, you got Bogdanovich in there.
Mm-hmm.
They re-signed Nicholas Batum. You got Derek
Mm-hmm.
Jones Jr. And this hurts. I hate to say it, this hurts. This signing hurt me. Brooke Lopez,
Yeah.
went to the Clippers. This is a legitimate 11-man rotation when
Yep.
healthy.
When
This is
healthy,
not a
yeah.
joke. This is no
No.
joke. This
No.
Clippers team is no joke this year.
Call them old, but hey, the Utah Jazz were old.
That's
back in the
right.
Malone Stockton days.
Yep.
We'll never know. This team can make some noise. They
I don't
can
think
make
I
some
don't, I don't think it's a question of think they will. I think they will. I know they'll make some noise.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah.
it's just there's so much talent on this team now, and let's Ty Lue, as much as he gets clowned for being LeBron's coach,
Yeah.
he's a great coach in his own right,
Yeah.
and there's a way for this team to move forward without Kawhi now, because in the last couple of seasons, they just give it to Paul George, they just give it to Norman Powell,
Yeah.
and every time they lost Kawhi, it's essentially what's going to happen to them. I'm
Right.
not saying that they're better off without Kawhi, but I'm saying that they can load manage him better now.
Yeah.
That makes them scary in the playoffs whenever
Oh,
they
yeah.
reach it.
Right.
Okay, let's not even think about the choking, the reputation that some of these players have.
Yeah.
But what they were missing last year, what they were missing is consistency. Well, newsflash, they just got that in Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Chris Paul will bring that. I don't know if James Harden will choke again this year or whatnot, but you got Chris Paul there. The reason why they kind of fell off a bit in the playoffs is that, well, Chris Dunn is just unplayable on offense, really.
Right.
So when James Harden isn't performing like James Harden, they're pretty much toast.
Yeah.
But you got Chris Paul in there now.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris Paul is going to be... If James
Honestly,
Harden
yeah.
is having a shit night, Chris Paul is
Yeah.
going to be running this offense.
Honestly, Chris Paul can still give you 10 and 10.
Yeah,
He
should
can
be
still
good.
give you 10 and 10. Yeah. Off the bench. Yeah.
He played 82 games last year.
Ooh, wow.
He played 82 games last year. People, I mean,
Yeah.
it's something that it's unprecedented for someone
Yeah.
his age and his play style. Sure, his numbers are down,
Right.
but this Clippers team doesn't need Chris Paul to score 20 points and give out 10 assists a game. They
Yeah.
don't need that.
Yeah.
Harden and Kawhi will be your high usage players here. Maybe Brad Beal.
Right.
Chris Paul just needs to give them, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 quality
10,
minutes
15.
off the bench.
Yeah.
Or just be there as a secondary playmaker if James Harden is not having a good night.
Right.
This gives them so much firepower, so much versatility on both sides of the floor. Well, assuming if they're healthy, by the way.
Yeah.
That's the big if with this.
Yep.
Given they got Kawhi Leonard on the team. But where do we see the Clippers in this year? People forget that Clippers and Lakers were essentially tied in the standings
Right.
last
The
year.
standings. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It was just more of a tiebreak thing.
Uh huh.
More than anything. But yeah, where do we see the Clippers?
So
Ending
last year they were last year they were
56, 26?
50 and 32.
Yeah, 50-32, yeah.
Ooh.
Same as the Lakers, really. And
Let's see.
they just lost because of the tiebreak scenarios. That's it.
So probably a little bit of improvement there with their win, with their standings. I'd say they'll still win 50 games. Playoff wise, I don't know how. Like you said, number one question is if they're healthy. Number two, with their age, I don't know how far their legs are gonna bring them through the playoffs, especially against OKC. Against that team which is pretty much on another level when it comes to really wearing you down. So we don't know. I would say I'll say they'll definitely be in the playoffs. We'll see them, and but it's gonna be with the 11-man rotation, 11 people, 11 strong. It's they'll make some noise. One thing we have not seen, I don't think this has ever happened in history, was the Lakers and the Clippers facing each other in the playoffs. It could happen.
You think this is the year?
This might be the year. Yeah.
This might be the year that this happens. So
Yeah.
you got the Thunder essentially locked in the first slot. I
Right.
don't think there's going to be any question about that. You
Right.
got the Rockets at number 2. That's probably
Number two,
locked.
yeah.
I'm taking the Nuggets in the 3rd seed right now.
13, yeah.
Okay, I'm taking the Nuggets in the 3rd seed, and after that, it's definitely going to be a dogfight because the Timberwolves lost a lot of players.
Few Wolves,
Right,
yeah.
they lost Nicholas Walker.
Walker.
They lost some depth.
Yeah.
I don't see the Timberwolves being as good this year. You got the Mavericks coming up.
Right.
They might be in the mix. The Kings essentially suck this year. So do
Right.
the Grizzlies. So
Yeah.
the West is probably that. It's not as brutal, I would say, as last year.
Right.
But this is the time. I think we can make that prediction. This is probably gonna be the year when the Battle of LA finally happens,
Yep.
and we're gonna enjoy it so much
We enjoy it. Yeah.
because as we just saw, Luca is on a tear right now, and he's looking like Ozempic thin right now.
Yeah.
You see the videos,
The video.
You see his videos?
I've not seen the videos, but that
right? He's practicing with the Slovenian national squad, and we'll talk about Luca in a bit, but.
Right.
He's slim, man. I think he's gonna be on a mission, and LeBron is gonna be on a mission as well. This might be his last year, not maybe in the league, but probably a Laker.
Yeah.
He probably wants to go out on his shield. So I'm guessing this is the year that this Battle of LA finally happens.
Yeah. We gotta see
we're all
this,
Laker
yeah.
fans here, and
Yep.
we want to root for the Lakers. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit scared of that proposition. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I see I see a scenario where the Clippers actually beat the Lakers.